So I've come up with this very bad idea. I have decided to go 1 week without reading. And we're on day 2. Hi and welcome to this video. I am Øystein and I'm trying to become a bookworm. What is the best way of knowing that you've become a bookworm or you enjoy reading? Well, let's go 1 week without reading and see what I'm feeling. So this video will be about how I experience not reading. I have my thoughts on how I think it will be, but I think I'll just show you. It's day 3 and I'm outside walking. Usually when I'm walking, I'm listening to audiobooks at the moment, but this time I'm not. At the moment I'm really missing the books, but I can't really decide if I miss the reading or not. Or maybe I have decided I do not miss the reading, I just miss the books. It sort of feels like I have less time for a story and less opportunity to get into a story I might enjoy. But the reading I do not miss that much. Sort of feels like I'm wasting my time now, because all this time could be spent reading, or right now listening to an audiobook. If nothing else, this really makes me think about which book I'm going to read next. And there are a lot of candidates, and I have 4 days to think about it. I don't know if that's a positive thing. The one thing I have allowed myself is to listen to other people talk about books. That doesn't count. But I can sort of live through others. These days also makes me think that I have to spend a lot less time worrying about getting through books and rather try to enjoy the process. Of course, this is something I know I have to do, but it's still difficult. It's difficult to calm down when you feel like you want to read all of the books at once. Life's hard. I'm nearing the end of the week and I actually ended up having to drive quite a lot this week. Which is not a bad thing necessarily, just because I do not like audiobooks that much yet. Not having the ability to read a physical book because I'm driving gives me an excuse. I don't feel like I'm wasting time not reading, if that makes sense. Also, this far into my weekly project, I still miss having a book to read, but I do not miss the reading yet. One weird thing about this, I usually plan my meals from what I'm going to read, so I have to eat something I can eat while reading. So I can't eat soup because it's difficult to eat soup and read. For me at least, it's so much activity eating soup that I'm not going to manage to read. So that's an interesting discovery. It has been intentional, so it's not so surprising, but it's something I've been thinking about. Now I have to drive again, and without any audiobooks, but I can listen to book-related podcasts. Well, that didn't go as planned. I was thinking that I would have a week with a lot of spare time where I would miss my reading a lot. But suddenly things happened and I wouldn't have had the time to read anyway, I think. So maybe I picked the wrong week. That being said, I think I landed where I was supposed to land, where the books are more important than the actual reading, where I miss the actual physical books and miss the ability to be inside the stories. I'm constantly thinking that this is time I could have spent reading and getting to know an author or a book. So the feeling of missing books and all the things that comes with books is there, but not the actual reading itself. I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, I sort of look forward to the stories rather than sitting down with a book. But this is all my fault because I have a reading goal that's too big, but a reading goal is something to stretch for, so that's what I'm doing. If I'm not going to stretch for my reading goal, I shouldn't have one, I think. And that's why thinking about the actual reading can be kind of stressful, where it should be just enjoyable. That being said, the reason I have reading goals is so I can read more. And I still enjoy having read, and that's why it's there. I know if I stop filming this video and videos in general and stopped having a reading goal, I would probably go back to reading 2 or 3 books a year. That sounded weird saying out loud. I don't know if that's the case, but that is my prediction. And that's also the reason why I can't stop filming these videos. What I'm trying to say is that if I didn't have the reading goals, I would probably miss the actual reading more than I do now, just because it would be associated with something comfortable. One thing I've been thinking a lot about in this process is at what time did I miss my reading the most? And the answer is right before bed, or in bed, before sleeping, just because this is the time I knew I would have time to read, and I knew I would be in the mood for reading. And when I then picked up my mobile phone again, I thought this is a huge waste of time. So today I'm very happy to say that I'm going to read in bed again. One place I would have missed my reading but I didn't get the chance to try out this week is on public transport. Just because when I'm on public transport these days, I know I get very zoned into books and I read very, very focused. I do think that it's because I know that this is time I usually spend on my phone as well, so I could just as well read the books. Especially on airplanes, I know I will get a lot of reading done when I'm flying. I'm filming this clip 2 days after the week has passed, just so I could read some before I made this video, just to check how it felt. And one thing I did a lot during the no read week was to think about which books I'm going to read when I'm reading again, which was fun. And I decided to read Gangster Granny by David Walliams, just because I thought this was the perfect book to get my reading mood going again. And it was. I'm not going to talk about this book now, I'm talking about it later, but it really felt good sitting down with the book again. And I thought this is one way of maximizing the good feeling. It has a very big font, which you all know that I really love. Also, it took me under 1 day to read this book, which was very pleasant, ticking off one book on Goodreads again. I felt kind of bad on Goodreads for that week, just because I didn't have any updates, and that's the first time in 1 year that I went a week without updating Goodreads, and that felt terrible. Reading this book felt great, but I can't really say that my reading ban had anything to do with it. Also, I can't really say if I got anything out of my reading ban other than a little bit of stress because I felt I was wasting time. At least it reinforced my impression of myself as a person who wastes time when I'm on my phone. But that's about it. Some of you might think that I should be doing this 1 week more just so I could get the feeling of how it really should be, but I'm not going to do that. And maybe that's the answer to the question in itself. Or maybe it's just that I don't want to get behind on my reading goal. So that was kind of a weird video and a weird week. But I'm very happy that you saw this video, and I hope to see you also in the next one. Bye!